Good evening and welcome to Pushing Forward. This month we have a sponsor who is Harmony Ocala Dental, and we want to thank them very much for sponsoring us all month long. So you'll see Ocala Harmony Dental on all of our on everything that we do this month. So we thank them, and I just want to thank and invite you all to hear Jacy. This is my friend Jacy here, and by the end of this will be your friend too, and hopefully an advocate that you can reach out to if you're in the Alberta, Alabama, or Baldwin County area. This is Jacy Werner, and I believe she goes by Porter now. Welcome, Jacy.
Hi, thank you for having me tonight. It's an honor to be on here.
So, I know that we had started out talking a little bit off camera to start out with. Before we even start with what you do, why don't you give me a little bit of backstory about your brother?
My brother Ben, he was my best friend. If he walked into the room with us right now, he would have you laughing, anybody in the room laughing. He never met a stranger, would give the last dollar he had, the shirt off his back to anybody. He was just amazing. The life of the party. But my mom always, we were best friends, but Ben could get on my nerves. And my mom would be like, "Don't poke the bear, Ben, don't poke the bear." I was the bear.
So cute. So you had told me that you have a couple of other siblings. What are the age differences in your family?
Okay, so my first brother, his name is John. I call him John Boy or Bubba. He is 46 years old. My mom had him when she was 16. And then Ben, he was 35. He would be, gosh, 37 or 38 this year, maybe
Wow.
39. I don't remember. And then I was the oopsie, the surprise. I was, my mom had me when she was 40. So I'm 23 years old.
Oh wow, that good for mom. Wow.
Yeah.
She had them
My oldest
spread out for she had a built-in babysitter there too.
tormentors, they would pick
Oh.
on me.
So tell me about how old were you when you started to notice that there was a problem in your family?
Since I could remember, I remember the first time because both my brothers dealt with addiction. I was 11 years old. That was 2015, and I sat in a courtroom for the first time.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about that experience.
That was the first time my brother Ben had ever been arrested. And he went out with a bang. It was a felony drug charge, and he had never gotten in trouble. Like he was in high school, he was class president.
Oh wow.
He was an all-star basketball player.
Mhm.
All him and his friends, and there was about 10 friends in the friend group, were just good kids. And in 2015 was the first time he had ever gotten in trouble, and it was a felony drug charge. And I remember that day the judge told him to go sit with everybody else in the orange jumpsuits, and not something you want to see when you look up to your big brother, your best friend. But the judge decided that day like he was going to send him to sit for like about 2 weeks to sober up and then put him on drug court.
Mhm.
And during that time of him sitting in jail, my parents decided that it was time they needed to do something. So they found a rehab in North Alabama and they sent him up there when he
Okay.
got out.
So, they the judge just had put him into
Yeah,
incarceration just to
just to
sober him
get
up
him
a little bit.
yeah, sober him
Okay.
up, and then they were going to put him on drug court.
Okay. How did you feel that drug court worked back in that day?
I feel like it was the saving grace. I actually
Good.
wish that drug court was longer,
Mhm.
because when Ben was always on drug court, that was his accountability. Like
Yeah.
that's what kept him from doing drugs. He didn't want to go to jail.
Mhm.
Every time he graduated the 2 year period, it was the same constant.
Mhm.
He would go back to the same thing, and that's pretty much what happened in the end. Is he graduated and went back.
Mhm.
So in my opinion, I really would I really want to push for having it be longer.
That's great. So tell me a little bit about how you, if you know anything about how your brothers started taking drugs,
Um,
because you told me also that there were two brothers and
yes.
that they were both battling addiction.
I'm not real familiar with John's story. That's his story.
Hmm.
But Ben's, he was very like upfront with me all the time. He told me everything. And it pretty much started in the big pharma era when they were prescribing opioids, left and right. And
Hmm.
he had hurt his back or something and at a young age, and they started prescribing it, and he just got hooked.
Oh, wow. So did the doctor continue to prescribe him, or was he looking for something else on the street?
I think they prescribed him for a while, but then it was kind of like starting to get where they didn't want to anymore. So that's
Mhm.
when it went towards the
So
street.
that felony, describe that felony to me, like the incident itself.
Um, I can't really remember. I was really young.
Okay.
I think he had got pulled over and
Hmm.
there was drugs in the car.
Okay.
So
But
that's
it
how he
wasn't
got.
like this big aha moment for the family where they were like, oh my gosh, we've got to do an intervention.
I think everybody knew that there was a
Mhm.
problem, but that was the kind of moment like, okay, now we really need to do something.
Right.
We tried to talk to him, and when you're talking to somebody that's not ready to get
Right.
help, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of like, okay, I need to go.
Mhm.
Um,
So
and
was he back and forth in rehab or?
he went to rehab, and like I talked about those 10 friends.
Yeah.
So those 10 friends started in high school partying. It was drinking, smoking marijuana, and then with the big pharma era, they started trying other things.
Hmm.
And so quite when my parents went and got him, he was there for about 3 or 4 months, and the rehab called and was like, "Hey, Ben's better. He can come home." And so my parents went and got him, and quite immediately he like went back to that same friend group. The drinking started, and then we'd know he's smoking marijuana, and then we'd always know that he was on harder drugs because he was a hefty, healthy looking boy.
Yeah.
And when he was on drugs, he was tinier than me. His face was sunken in. It just didn't look good. So
Mhm.
quite immediately after that stint, he had went back to
Mhm.
it. He had went back to that same environment.
So, that leading up to ultimately he is not with us anymore. When did that happen?
So
And of
from
course, my condolences to your
thank
family.
you. Thank you. I
Always,
appreciate it. Yes, ma'am. So he had went, and I'll tell you, it's a little bit of a long story.
go ahead,
When I do my speech to kids, I'll do it like this.
please.
When he got out of the rehab and went back to that same friend group from 2015 to 2016, he was arrested 6 more times.
Okay.
So it was either, I think all of those 6 times were drug court violations because he was on drug court. So he would either miss a test or fail a test. And they'd put him in for like, it started out as like 5 days, and then you'd go for 30 days and 75 days. So he was from 2015, 2016, he was arrested 6 times. And then that final sixth time, the judge was like, we need to do something else. You have two options. You can go to rehab for a year, or you can sit in jail for a year. And I neither one of my brothers wanted to sit in jail for a year. Anytime they got into jail, they'd immediately call my mom and dad crying, like,
Of
"Come get
course.
me out of this
Yep.
place. This is terrible." So he obviously chose the year in rehab. He went to Teen Challenge, and he completed it. And he came back.
Which location did he go to?
He was in Pensacola.
Okay.
And he came back the father, the brother, the son we all knew him to be. We
Hmm.
had a few good years with him, and then and he because he was on drug court, and I
Hmm.
think he did drug court for more because if in that first year you could mess up, but in the second year if you messed up, you had to restart. So I think he was there for about 3 years.
Okay.
And then in 2020, we saw a change again. We saw him go back around those friends.
Yep.
Then we saw the drinking, partying, smoking marijuana, and then we knew he was on harder drugs because he was skinny and just didn't look good. From 2020 to 2021, my brother was arrested 6 more times. I remember sitting in that courtroom for the 12th time. I was angry. I was angry at my brother because when my parents weren't spending thousands on rehab or thousands to bail him out of jail, he was stealing our things,
Hmm.
taking our things and selling them. I remember one night or one morning I had woke up and he had stole $10,000 the night before, and went and spent it on drugs in the casino.
Hmm.
So that's a lot for my family to just
Absolutely. Yeah.
blow in one night. And so,
You
but
better
I was
believe it. And
also,
I can relate to all of this. Obviously, we went through the same thing.
yes,
So sometimes I look as if I am not moved
mhm,
by or surprised by where a
yeah,
lot of people that would be interviewing me
yeah,
or
would be
you would be
surprised.
like, "What? No, this
Yes,
does
I'm the
not
same way.
surprise me." Yeah.
Yes, I've been there, seen it all, lived it all. But I was angry at my parents also. I just couldn't understand. Like, I didn't understand that was their child. They loved him and they were going to do anything for him and try to help him get better. In my mind, I was like, why are you letting him put us through this all the time?
Right.
It was traumatic. But I was also terrified. I was terrified my big brother, my best friend, was going to go to prison because how many probation violations or felony drug charges can you get before you go? But the judge that he gave him a millionth chance, just like my parents, and gave him those same two options: you're in rehab, you're in jail. Obviously, he chose the rehab again. He went to that one, he completed it. That one was CED fellowship in Gadsden.
Oh, wow.
Um, so he went up there, and I think the judge ordered him to go to that one. And he came back, he graduated. He actually stayed up there for a few weeks afterwards because he had a really good job, but then he missed. He has a 9-year-old daughter, or at
Okay.
the time of his past, she's now 12, fixing to be 13 this
Oh,
year.
wow.
Yes. But
And who does she live with?
she lives with her mom.
Okay.
Yes.
And was her mom addicted?
No.
Okay, great.
Yes, they were separated.
Okay.
But he wanted to be closer, so he moved back home after he
Okay.
completed rehab and he missed all of us. And he did great. He was on drug court again, so he couldn't do wrong or he'd go back.
Hmm.
And so right after he graduated drug court, but it was in 2022 he graduated. We lost him. But I mean, he was great. He watched me graduate high school, got to watch me turn 18 and got to watch me turn 19. I remember the day before we lost him. It was September 10th of 2022, and it was a Saturday night, and I was going to watch barrel races. And Ben had told me before he liked to watch barrel races. So as I was leaving, I was like, "Hey Ben, you want to come with me?" And he was like, "No, I'm going to take my girlfriend out tonight." And he had met this girlfriend in like May, I think, May or closer. He had been with her for a few months, and he said, "I love you. I'll see you in the morning." And he gave me a hug. And never thought that was the last time I'd see my brother. And so it was the next morning was a Sunday morning. It was September 11th, 9/11 of
Hmm.
2022. And every Sunday morning, my dad and my brother had a tradition. Before any of us got up, they would have breakfast together about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and just spend time together and talk before any of us got up. Well, I got up around 8 o'clock that morning and Ben wasn't there, and that was unusual because of my dad and his tradition, but also because Ansley, his daughter, was there, and he was never
Okay.
not home when she was with us. He was
Yeah.
always there. He would always come back early in the morning if he had been with his girlfriend, or he was there because
Hmm.
he took his time with his daughter seriously. And so I was like, "Hey, mom, where's Ben?" And she's like, "I'm not sure. He must have stayed out late last night with his girlfriend. He must have stayed over there. He'll call, he'll text, he'll come home soon." And she had said, I had texted him, he'll answer back soon. So I went on with my day. My parents and my niece went shopping. And I had texted my brother about something, and he had never answered me. And my parents came home about 12:30, 1 o'clock. And as they were coming in the door, I went to ask, "Hey, have you heard from Ben?" Because I hadn't. And as I went to ask, I looked out my dining room window and there was a police car coming down the driveway. I remember plain as day, my mom just looks to my dad and she said, Tom, we have to go outside. They're going to tell us Ben was arrested. We may have to go get his truck out of impound. They knew the drill, but normally a police officer does not come to your house to tell you your child's been arrested. And I guess it didn't go through their mind that
Right.
it could be anything else. And so they walked out the front door and I walked out the back door and my now husband was standing back there and I had walked up to him and I said, Colbin's dead. And the horrifying look he had on his face. He said, What do you mean your brother's dead? And I said, We need to go to the front of the house. And as I made my way to the front of the house, the police officer had just told them. And
Yeah.
they were on the ground screaming and crying. It was an overdose, what was later to be determined fentanyl. He had marijuana, meth, and heroin in his system, but he had acute fentanyl poisoning. So he had more fentanyl in his system than any other drug.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in that moment when they told us, the world just stopped spinning.
So
Um,
did you know about fentanyl before this? Did he know about fentanyl before this?
I think I do believe he knew about fentanyl. I think my brother thought he was invincible.
Yes, I
Like
think my son did
nothing,
too. Yes.
not like, and I didn't, I kind of, it was just coming into effect. I was leaving high school, so it wasn't so much of a big deal then as it is now in high school. And I try to tell
Right.
kids, like, I didn't hear about fentanyl. I didn't really know how bad it could have been until my brother was dead. And
Right.
now you hear about it every day. And unfortunately, during that time, I look back at a lot of dates when his friends have passed away and like people that I meet, and it was all in 2022 around Baldwin County. Um,
I have a question about the 10 friends.
huh,
So, that's something that we have in common.
mhm.
My son had a group of friends that he grew up with, and ultimately now there's only one guy left.
There's about two or three left of mine, and we just lost another one
Right.
this week.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And it hits
Yes,
hard every single time. And
it does.
it even hits hard sometimes to see the ones that are there because it's awkward now.
Yeah.
The ones that are
And it
still
was,
left, it's so awkward between
I
us. And I'm
had,
like, hey, let's
yeah.
not make it like this.
Yeah. And I had a text on my phone this week. Someone had sent me, I am so sorry. I know it wasn't your family member, but I know you hate when something like this happens because you know how it feels.
Yep. Yeah, it's terrible.
Hmm.
Oh, and it just it floods back memories
Hmm. It does.
on both of our accounts. So it is something that, and this was something else that we were discussing
Mhm.
off camera,
Yes.
but in 2016, fentanyl was just coming onto the scene, and my son lost his life to a fentanyl overdose. When we saw fentanyl on the death certificate, we were like,
Hmm.
what does that even mean? We had
Yeah.
no idea. But then it was
Yeah.
one after another after another. Now, at that point, me and my husband did not live in Philadelphia area
Uh-huh.
anymore, but it had become such an epidemic there. And
Yes.
then 2, maybe 3 years later, it hit the area that we were living in then, which was
Yeah.
Buffalo, New York.
Uh-huh.
All of that area was hit.
Hmm.
Then you get another area. When we moved down to Escambia County, I've never seen anything the way
Yeah.
Escambia County was. And it was person after, and I remember being at a meeting with a mother, and she wouldn't mind me saying her name. Her name is Kim, and she's very active
Hmm.
in a lot of our organizations. But I remember her saying, "This cannot how can this still be a thing? If
Yeah.
you lost your son in 2016 and I lost my son at 2020 or 2022, you lose your brother. How is this still something that we are losing? And it's 2026 now.
Yeah.
And why is it traveling across the United States? It's
Yeah.
something to really look at.
Yeah, and it's new, and every day I'm getting new things that are coming
Mhm.
into effect. Like there was fentanyl, and then it came xylazine, and I'm like,
Yes.
what is that?
Yep.
And then there's a new one, I can't remember the name. But it's just a new thing
I think one of the
every
things
day, and I'm
that
like,
that were
how?
so alarming to me as well is that Escambia
Uh-huh.
County and Baldwin County are so close. And we've got that imaginary
Yeah.
line. That's all that we have. But you guys did not start with losing people to fentanyl until clear after Escambia County was getting wiped
Hmm.
out. And the
Yeah.
how do I say it? Xylazine. Um,
Xylazine.
yeah,
Yes.
we heard about that, and we had a lot of break-ins in, say, veterinarian hospitals in Escambia County during, like,
Wow.
I would say, like, it had to have been 3 years ago, was like that the epitome of it. So,
Wow.
are you guys just
Yes.
getting that now?
I think it was maybe a year or two after my brother, we had the first case that had xylazine.
Hmm.
Um, and that's when I was like, what is that? Like I'd heard of it, but I'm like, oh my gosh, it's here now. So we were a few years after y'all.
Yeah, yeah, it's so crazy, isn't it? Because
Mhm.
like I
Yeah,
said,
we're
it's
right
an
next to each
imaginary
other.
line. That's all
Yeah.
that it is. And I remember, like, when I was going out, and I was actually still just in the phase of, hey, let me introduce myself. My name is Melissa. I'm with Jamie's mom's house. And I was in Baldwin County, but I was in Lillian, and I was in just at the very tip of
Hmm.
Alberta at that time. And I remember people saying, as I was just introducing myself, saying a little bit about Jamie's mom's house, and they would be like, you know what, we know somebody that has lost their child, or boy, they've got somebody in and out of rehab, and blah, blah, blah. And it
Hmm.
was just hitting your
Hmm.
area. And
Yeah.
it just became a whirlwind just like that.
Hmm.
But it's something to really think about, and it's something for us to think about. But I think it's something that the authorities really have to take into
Yeah.
consideration. After doing a lot of investigating about, the whole opioid crisis and
Hmm.
how that took off, and how it was the big pharma's whole plan
Yeah.
was to use us as a testing site and use 5 states to start that off with.
Hmm.
Um, and then you see the demise of all of those 5 states that went
Hmm.
first, and it just
Yeah.
threw up all over the United States. It was just terrible. It wiped out a whole generation of people
Yeah,
and
it
beyond.
did. There's so many of binge generation that's just not here. There's so many kids growing up with parents because they're just there's nobody. They're wiped out, you know.
Hmm.
There's so many of Ben's friends that are gone, and I try to tell these kids, I'm like, they did this together. They were in this group. It was always a cycle with Ben. You'd see the friends, you'd see, and I'm not Ben made his own choices.
Of
Those were
course.
Ben's choices. But when you put yourself back in that same environment around those same people, you're going to do it. And that's what I tell the kids. Like my three things is people, places, things. The people you're around, the places you're in, and the things you're doing matter, and they will always matter.
Now, when you talk to us all here
Mhm.
about when you're talking about, I tell the kids, now tell
Yes.
me about your foundation.
So, like I told you off camera, at the funeral, just all of Ben's friends that were still alive, a few had passed before him from the same exact thing. Um, but we didn't hear about fentanyl. We had just heard overdose.
Right.
So we didn't know like fentanyl was a thing. It took a little while later for like me to talk to parents and they'd be like, yeah, he died of fentanyl too. And I was like, oh wow, I never knew that was what I just heard overdose. And so at his funeral, a lot of them were just coming in high, and you could tell, and like it was at the wake, and like I just wanted to shake them and be like, this could be you. Like, do you want to put your family through what I'm going through, what my family's going through? Like, we're burying my brother today because of the same stuff you are doing right now.
Mhm.
And so at the funeral, I had done my brother's eulogy. And after I got done, I looked at my mom and dad and I said, do y'all mind me saying something? And they said, no, go ahead. And I just wanted to get out before the rumors, anybody anybody could say, because everybody knew Ben.
Right.
Everybody knew he struggled. He wasn't ashamed to tell people. His biggest goal in life was to mentor teen boys. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to get better, and that's what he wanted to do, so they didn't go down the same path he did. And so at the funeral, I was like, Ben, well, I'm not going to cover it up and say Ben died of something else.
That's right.
Ben died of doing drugs. He died of
Right.
fentanyl. And so I said, some people in the crowd, I want you to hear this. It's time to stop. I want you to take a good look at the people on the front row. I want you to take a good look at this casket. This could be you. This could be your family. Do not put your family or you through this. And I just looked at my family and I said, I don't know what we can do, but if you need us, we'll do something. You
Mhm.
can come to us. We'll help you. And after the funeral, a bunch of people came up to me, wanted my speech. A police officer came up to me and was like, I want your speech. And I was like, I don't have it. I was just mad. I was just speaking the truth. And I said, we talked and she said, why don't we go into schools and share your brother's story? And I was like, why don't we? And that's how the night my brother was buried, I started the Benjamin Thomas Werner Foundation.
Beautiful.
And since then, it was a month after my brother passed away. I walked onto my first football field, and in front of 1,000 kids, I shared Ben's story.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
That's so wonderful. So after that, you decided to take this and do an outreach there in Alberta. Is that
Hmm.
what you're doing? Because I've been
Yes.
to your outreach now 2 times. I don't know how many
Uh-huh.
times that you've had it. And thank you for inviting me and my
Yeah.
foundation and so
Yes, of
many others that have
course.
participated in that. It is such
Yes.
a beautiful reminder
Hmm.
of who we have lost, and really it's
Yes.
great in prevention.
Yes, yes, we do outreaches, we do community events.
Hmm.
We've held events at high schools for parents of high schoolers. We've had
Okay.
guest speakers come and talk to the parents about what trends are going on, what we're seeing high schoolers doing, just so they know the information. Because unfortunately, a lot of times now, it's not just parents raising children, it's grandparents and even great grandparents, and they don't know all the things that they've come up with. We have vapes that look like Sharpies and highlighters, and they can just take them to school, and
And they've
grandparents
now
know
passed a
stuff.
new law that we're getting more and more.
Yeah. And so
Crazy.
we just try to keep them up to date on trends. We hold the outreach events. We send when someone passes away, we send the family a care package that day, just to like tell them like we are so sorry, we know how it feels, we are here for you, anything you need. And then they're added to a list. And every holiday we send out a care package just to tell them that their loved one's not forgotten. We remember their name, and we're thinking about them during the holidays.
That's so beautiful.
In the beginning, like I told you, we had paid for people to go to rehab, but we were spending thousands and not getting um, the outcome we wanted. We unfortunately didn't have a lot of people graduate, and so we decided we needed to try something new. So we switched to prevention and education in teenagers.
Mhm.
And we go into all the schools. We share Ben's story. If a kid afterwards needs help, they can reach out and we'll get them to the right resources they need, like counseling, or if they need to go somewhere. We have so many connections across Baldwin County. We can send them to other people that can help them get where they need to go.
So you work with other organizations to say get them out of Baldwin County and into rehab in other places.
Yes, it is a little hard. We don't have many resources for teenagers,
Hmm.
but there is some like the Bridge. That's a
Yes.
wonderful program.
Hmm.
It's counseling, and they do have rehabilitation centers that they will send them to.
Hmm.
I work for a wonderful nonprofit too, the Drug Education Council, and we have resources. We have classes in Baldwin County when a child is gets in trouble at school or by juvenile probation for the first time for alcohol or drugs. They come to us and they go through a 5 week class with their parents. Their parents have to come, or their guardian, and they go through a 5 week class of just all the dangers that what they were doing could cause them, and just educate them. And then we send them back. They get a certificate and they get to go back to school, or they go back to juvenile probation and say, I graduated this class.
That's wonderful.
We do anonymous drug testing at the um, Drug Education Council for any parents that want to know if their child is doing something. They provide we set up tables with information all over. I provide Narcan training. I'm a certified Narcan trainer, so I can go and train any business or any place that wants and needs to be trained on Narcan. We Yes. And
So proud
so
of you. Like, this is
thank
such a
you.
big step. And here's something that I feel like you probably don't realize, but like Ben lives through you by what you're doing. But even more so, if you think of it this way, he wanted to get better to
Mhm.
help youth. And that's
Yeah.
what you're doing. You're
Yes.
helping the youth.
Yes.
You're you're doing exactly what he wanted to do. You
Yes.
know, he would be super proud of you.
Thank you.
And I know that your family's super proud of you.
Thank you. I know we say we can't change Ben's story,
Mhm.
but we can help change somebody else's.
That's
And
right.
if we help change one life, that's a win of a lifetime for us.
That's right.
And
Well,
my family, I
go ahead.
couldn't do it out without my family. My parents are my biggest supporters. They are there. My mom is there. I get choked
Oh,
up.
oh,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Uh,
No, I totally
my
get it.
my brother, my husband, my sister-in-law, it's a whole family effort. And we have an amazing board members, and most of them, everybody has been affected by addiction. One of the board members lost their brother like me. Another one is a police officer. She's seen it. She knows people.
Mhm.
Everybody in some sort of way is touched by addiction, and it doesn't discriminate.
I
Um,
have met
it,
several of the people in your organization
mhm,
at your outreach, and they're just amazing people. Anyone
yes.
that can go through this, what we've been through,
Mhm.
and come out the other side and then begin to help other people,
Yeah.
I mean, you're a warrior. You
Thank
really
you.
are.
Thank
And,
you.
you know, that's how we have to think of ourselves. Like, people have often asked me, they're like, why? Why do you want to get involved in this?
Mhm.
Why wouldn't I? Because, like
Yeah.
what you said, I can't change James's story, but I can help the future
Yeah.
and I can help other families that go through it. Same
Exactly.
as you, because you know what your family has gone through.
Yes. And it's just, I don't know. I don't think if I didn't just go straight after Ben's funeral and do what I did, I don't think I would be where I was at today. I think I would have been down a different path.
Me too.
Um, so it did a lot of good for me too.
Yeah, and to encourage other people like you did with your organization, to encourage them to, hey, why don't we link arms and really make a
Hmm.
difference for your child or your brother or, you know,
Yes.
your loved one. It kind of gets people out of that,
Hmm.
where they could end up somewhere
Yeah.
down the line as well.
Yeah.
So where can we find you? Do you have a physical building, first of
No.
all? You do
We do
not.
not.
Okay.
No. You can find me. I'm everywhere. I'm out in the community all the
Mhm.
time. I'm working for the Drug Education Council. I always have tables set up in the community for them. We have resources. We have Narcan. We have pill disposables for prescription pills. Anybody like elderly or anybody that just has prescription pills that they need to get rid of, we hand those out and they just shake them up and it disposes of them and you just throw them in the trash can.
Oh, that's great.
But we have all kinds of information we give out daily, and we're always trying to be in the community. You can reach me on my Facebook, the Benjamin
Mhm.
Thomas Werner Foundation. My phone number is on there, my email. I'm normally try to be quick to respond to everybody.
And of
Um,
course, we are going to put JC's website and
yeah,
Facebook information up on our own website here for the next month as well. If anybody has any questions on how to get in touch with JC, of course, you can always get in touch with myself or Pushing Forward if you want more information of how to get involved or if you need any assistance in any way.
And we have our next event is in August. August is Overdose Awareness
Mhm.
Month, and we tried to get it not on the day. The day is falls on a Monday this year, and that's kind of hard for people to come out.
Mhm.
But International Overdose Awareness Day, we're gonna do it on that Saturday before,
Mhm.
and we are gonna hold a community strong family festival. And it's gonna be at the State Street Coffee in Alberta.
My favorite.
Um, and we have made buttons with everybody's loved ones. We've had a form and people can submit their loved one's picture, and we're making buttons of all of them. And the theme is say their name
That's
in the
beautiful.
silence. And we'll have all the buttons for the family members to pick up and wear that day. And we want it to be a family event. We want kids to come out. We're going to have vendors. People can shop at local vendors. We're going to have activities for the kids. We're going to have somebody playing music, and we just want everybody to come out and support each other and love on the people that have lost loved ones, and also support the people that are in recovery and still here to share their stories.
That's so beautiful. I'm gonna get all that information out.
Yes.
I would love it if you would make a pin for James. I won't be
Yes.
around for that, but my family will be. So I would love
Yes. Yes.
if they would
Absolutely.
come to that and that if they would wear a pin and be supported and be
Yes.
supportive there as
Absolutely.
well. So I'll let everybody know all the information and we'll put up a flyer on our Facebook
Okay.
page.
Yes, we're still working on the flyer right now. We just got all the
Okay,
details finalized, and the coffee shop is making a flyer. And
great.
once
I
we get
love
that
them.
out, and we're welcoming any nonprofit that has resources that wants to set up, they are free tables to set up there.
Oh, wow, that's good to know. That's really good to
Yes.
know. I'll let everybody know that.
Yes.
Perhaps I can set up a table there.
Yes.
Right now we're in Ocala, so
Oh,
yeah. So we're not there right now, but my
yes.
husband is recovering from his liver transplant. So
Yes.
but we still have a team up there, so
Yes.
you just might see us. I cannot
Yes.
thank you for everything that you do. Just know that you always have a partner in me,
Thank
and
you.
I will promote everything that you do, JC. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
I appreciate it a lot. Thank
This was
you.
a great story from trial to triumph for
Yes,
sure.
ma'am. Yes, Sam. Ben's story, that's my Ben's legacy will live on. I'll make sure of it.
Beautiful.